Iron Man is really no stranger to facing off against invading aliens coming down and threatening to conquer Earth.
I'm sorry, Earth is closed today.
But what if you had to face off against somebody with a little bit more power, a little bit more juice, a little bit more oomph? I'm talking about Faora-Ul, Kryptonian war criminal, sub-commander of the Sword of Rio, just an absolute savage. What if she had showed up on Earth that day instead of the Black Order? What if she started spouting off about how they're going to form a new Krypton, kill millions of people, all of that? Could Iron Man have beaten her? Could Iron Man have saved the day? Well, let's get into it. Let's find out. Now, this is probably a good time to remind y'all that we're starting a feud of HGTV. Yeah, the Home and Garden Network. We're going to beat them by getting more subscribers than them. Pass them in subs. That'll show them, right? So let's take some inspiration from Faora here and just annihilate them. Just destroy them. So go hit the subscribe button and make sure you turn on the little bell to get notifications as well. 70% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. But we need your help too. We're drafting you into the DanCo army to win this fight. So get to it. Hit the subscribe button. Okay, so since Faora was showing us how we're going to whoop HGTV, let's do her a favor in return and talk about her first. Faora is the loyal second in command to General Zod. She became a war criminal alongside him. When they were eventually freed from the Phantom Zone prison, well, they made their way to Earth. Attempted to re-establish the Kryptonian Empire by bringing about apocalypse and terraforming Earth into Krypton. Of course, Superman wasn't about that at all. He stood in their way to stop them and bring them down. Now, the big fight with all this was in Metropolis, when Superman and Zod destroyed a massive city and killed tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah, when Godzilla does it, he's hailed as a hero, or we even try and keep him as a big giant pet. But when Superman does it, no, we gotta get all up in arms about it. But that wasn't the only city that all the Kryptonians destroyed in that movie. No, they also teamed up to destroy Superman's hometown, Smallville. And that's where Faora comes into play. So the first thing you gotta know about her is, she's a Kryptonian. She's powerful just like Superman. She's got that. But outside of that, she is an amazing fighter. Like seriously, so skilled. She was known as the Tigress of Zod. A freaking badass nickname if you ask me. And she is absolutely fierce and ruthless. Just bodied Superman at different parts of the fight. Like the man didn't even stand a chance in a simple hand-to-hand encounter. But that's not necessarily a knock on Superman. Like, don't get too down on yourself, Cal. This is literally what Faora was bred and born for. Meanwhile, you were just living it up on the farm with Ma and Pa.
Where did you train? On a farm?
So Krypton got to an admittedly kinda weird point in their civilization, where they basically outlawed natural childbirth. Don't know if they outlawed like lovemaking along with that. That probably would have started a revolt, but the movie doesn't go there, thankfully. But Faora was genetically engineered in the Genesis chamber to be a fighter, to be a warrior.
I was bred to be a warrior, Cal. Trained my entire life to master my senses.
And she believes that this gives her a natural evolutionary advantage over somebody like Superman.
It is that evolution always wins.
Don't know if that's really the case, but I do know it makes her one heck of a good fighter. I also know that she is just an insane physical powerhouse. She's been hitting it in the gym, getting those gains, getting those muscles. Then you combine that with Faora's ruthlessness and just her complete lack of restraint, what means that she never held back her new insane power. And that is what allowed her to beat up on Superman. Even though Clark had been living on Earth for decades longer, soaking up all that glorious yellow sun energy for a whole lot longer. She's crazy strong. Really incalculably strong. She can create shockwaves of her punches, easily throw around cars and trucks, beat up on Superman, and team up with Namek to actually overpower Superman, bring him back down to Earth, even momentarily daze him and leave him almost out of the fight. And then by far her best punch was when she rocked Superman and sent him flying across a good part of Smallville and crashing into a bank vault. That was one heck of a hit. However, I don't want you to think that every single punch she's throwing is that powerful, it's packing that much force behind it. Because, I mean, look at their IHOP fight, for instance. I don't know what IHOP paid for this kind of brand deal, where Superman literally destroys an IHOP in a fight. It couldn't have been cheap, but did it really make you want to buy IHOP? I don't know. Anyways, they crash into the building. Pretty good impact. But then Faora knocks Superman down, and he flies backwards, only to be stopped by the building wall. If it was really that strong of a hit, he would have gone flying through that wall like they were doing all throughout the rest of the fight. Then she hits him again, creates a little shockwave, but he really doesn't go that far, isn't sent flying or nothing. Then she finally lets him have it and sends him flying across town. So she can definitely do something like that, but not every single punch she was throwing at Superman was on that level. So it goes to reason that not every single punch she's throwing at Iron Man will be on that level either. So Faora is ridiculously strong. She's also ridiculously tough, like arguably indestructible. She can take bullets just fine, even some pretty high caliber rounds, survive explosions, and then of course fight against Superman. Do really well against Superman too. Take plenty of hits and punches from him, keep on fighting, keep on going. She's really pretty tough. But few things. She was messed up by Superman's heat vision, which I mean isn't like a knock. That thing can reach up to 10,000 degrees and slice apart skyscrapers. It's just that I'm betting Iron Man has at least some stuff in his arsenal that can mimic that. Secondly, there is a way to beat Kryptonians here. To beat Faora, to beat Zod, to beat these kind of guys. Break apart their mask. That mask is there to help them when they're entering into a new world's atmosphere, designed to block out a lot of the environmental factors that would lead to a Kryptonian's sensory overload and just being overstimulated. And it's not impossible to destroy this mask. I mean, in fact, Superman broke both Zod's and Faora's with just a few punches. I mean, I guess Superman punched Zod more than a few times.
You think you can threaten my mother?
But yeah, that's what you get for threatening the guy's mom. But with Faora, well, just one hit and that mask was broken. Before that, perfectly fine. And this is kind of tied into the mask thing, because it looks like when Kryptonians are overstimulated or overexposed, have all their senses flaring on 10 at all levels, they're more vulnerable. They're a bit more exposed. Like take Faora for instance. She was knocked out from a missile explosion after her mask was broken, which before that, I'm sure she could have taken it just fine. And then there's her speed. And when you see people arguing for Kryptonians online, this is the big one. And this is the big one. Faora is wicked fast. She's fast enough to dodge bullets, fast enough to leave little sonic booms when she moves, even fast enough to catch Superman off guard and not react him. Of course, that might have to do more with her level of skill than her speed, but still, she's right up there with Clark. However, it's also not like Faora is leaving people looking like statues everywhere she goes. It's not like she's unreactable to. That's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Those soldiers were still shooting at Faora as she was moving around and killing all of them. Which, I mean, you gotta admire the spirit, gotta admire the hustle, knowing that they were gonna die and still fighting anyways. And the point isn't that she was getting hit by bullets. She's clearly faster than bullets when she wants to be. The point is, the soldiers were able to track her and keep up with her as she was moving between them, firing at her as she was moving around. She's not leaving them looking like statues and completely motionless like in the Superman versus Flash fight. So is Faora powerful? Yes! Obviously, big time resounding yes. Is she as powerful as Superman? No, she's not. And that's where Iron Man can come in. That's how Iron Man can beat her. That's how Iron Man has a shot here. And so let's talk about Iron Man. Let's talk about Tony. For starting out as just a genius in a cave with a box of scraps, Tony really did well for himself. Really kept on upping the ante and raising the bar. to the point where he's able to take on literal gods and monsters. Finally, genocidal alien warlords. And it's that last one that I really want to focus in on. The Mark 50 Iron Man armor is completely made out of nanotech. Millions and millions of little nanobots, which really allows Tony so much versatility and creativity, to the point where he could almost do anything he wants or can dream of. Well, maybe not that extreme, but it does allow him to create some pretty great weapons. He can form swords and shields, turn his arms into energy cannons, shoot out powerful energy blasts, or launch missile barrages, or even big ol' explosions. And all of this is enough to make Thanos bleed. Just a little drop of blood, but still, this was something that Hulk couldn't do, Thor wasn't able to do the first time around, it was Iron Man. So I'm not sure what like a direct apples to apples comparison will be between Superman's attacks and Iron Man's attacks here, but I'm betting that if he can make Thanos bleed, he can destroy Faor's mask with his attacks too. And that's just his weapons and all that, which does give him a great amount of versatility, but he's also a physical powerhouse now. He's able to square off against Cole Obsidian, stun him with some punches, a guy who can take on the Hulkbuster, and even knock Thanos around a little bit. I mean, not a ton, not like an insane amount, but enough to where he did it. But also, let's be real here, Iron Man is not beating Faora in an arm wrestling competition anytime soon. Where Iron Man might have her beat though is, surprisingly enough, durability. So I think he can definitely take the kind of punches that Faora can dish out. Not just because he took an absolute beating from Thanos, but even Cole Obsidian. Cole launched Iron Man across part of New York and through buildings, just like Faora did with Superman. And Iron Man wasn't taken out of the fight, wasn't even really phased. Kinda looked like he was more just surprised about how he ended up a few blocks over. But it's really just one feat in particular, the moon launch. So Thanos has had just about enough of these annoying little heroes, so he decides he's gonna end it all right here. Winds up, grabs the Power Stone and the Space Stone, and proceeds to launch a full-on moon down on top of them. Iron Man is able to dip and weave through a lot of the debris, only to be smashed by one big meteor and crash down beneath the planet's surface. Now, for the longest time, I thought this was Thanos breaking apart the moon with the Power Stone and sending the debris through a portal with the Space Stone. I thought that's what was going on, but now I'm not too convinced. For starters, Joe Russo said that what Thanos was doing here was using the Power Stone to break apart the moon, then using the Space Stone to quickly pull it down to the surface of Titan. All that blue isn't a portal, it's just meteors moving at insane speed. You can see that more clearly in the early VFX shots of what I'm talking about here. Then it also explains why the rocks were flaming, because they were entering into the atmosphere at just insane speed. So no portal, Thanos was pulling them. And that means two things here. One, Iron Man getting hit by that meteor just makes his durability even more impressive, because it's moving so much faster than we would have thought. Like, tell me, when has Faora ever survived something like this? A big old meteor coming in at re-entry speed. Nah, the girl was knocked out by a missile. Two, it actually makes Iron Man a bit faster than we would have thought, because he's dodging all these meteors at breakneck speed. According to the American Meteor Society, meteors entering into the atmosphere can range from 25,000 miles per hour to 160,000 miles per hour. And who knows how fast these are moving with Thanos pulling them down with a space stone like that. So yeah, Iron Man might be way faster than we're giving him credit for. Then finally, Friday is a really big sneaky advantage here in this fight. It's one of those things that allows him to keep up at crazy speeds, because the AI can move the suit faster than Tony can of his own reactions. It helps Tony work through situations, it can analyze what is going on and what defenses are around something, it should be able to pick up on Faora's breather pretty early on, and it can even help him analyze fight patterns and come up with counters for her skill. All of that is pretty helpful if you ask me. So those are two fighters. Who's coming out on top here? Who's going to win? Well, couple things I want to circle back to. One, I don't actually believe Faora is moving fast enough here to where she will be untouchable and Iron Man can't perceive her, and it leaves him standing there looking like a statue while she pounds the crap out of him. She's fast, not that fast. If random soldiers are able to track her and fire at her as she moves all around them, and this isn't the only time either, soldiers were tracking Kryptonians all throughout this fight. Like, look when this guy noticed Namek coming in for a bull rush on Superman. Then if all of them can do that, then Iron Man can do it too. Especially if she knows that he is just a human, because she doesn't respect humans at all. She doesn't take them seriously. She might let herself be hit with a few of Iron Man's initial attacks, just like she did with the bullets. Of course, it won't work out quite as well for her. 2. It's really all about durability and the fact that Iron Man has an easier way to put Faora down than Faora does with Iron Man. For Iron Man, he's just got to break apart that mask. That's it. One bull rush from Superman was able to do it. A barrage of punches from Clark did it there, and from there, well, one lone missile was enough to take Faora out. I think with everything Iron Man showed us, especially in his fight against Thanos, a dude stronger and more powerful than Hulk, he can replicate that kind of power. He can break apart that mask and beat her that way. For Faora, well, she's got to break apart Iron Man's armor. Easier said than done. I mean, just in this one fight, in order to wear down Tony's nanotech self-repairing armor, it took at least 9 to 10 hits from Thanos, a dude stronger than the Hulk, being smashed by a freaking asteroid coming in at re-entry speed and blast from the Power Stone, an Infinity Stone that can literally destroy planets, and had Thor yelling out in pain. And I don't think Faora is all that. I don't think she's that strong. I mean, you would genuinely be putting her on the level of Thanos, probably above him if you're saying that she can do all of that before he can break apart her mask. I don't think I can say that. Nope, can't do it. I think Faora is powerful, but I don't think she's that powerful. I think she's tough. I don't think she's that tough. And so I guess that means Iron Man can win. Look at that, from a suit built in a cave to beating a god-like alien. Who would have thought?
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. Who do you think wins this fight? Iron Man, the Armored Avenger, or the Tigress Azad? I still love that nickname, Faora. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to be HGTV here. We need your help. So hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit that like button, and see y'all next time.